Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the prediction for the Banlist that should now appear within the next few days for the next release of the new selection pack, probably around the 10th of December. We already know some new archetypes and cards that will be released there. If you have not seen the leaks video, go check that out in the top right corner. It is linked there. You can go check that out. And obviously we have one major leak already for the Banlist. But before talking about this, let's talk about how the meta is currently looking, because obviously this is very important in determining what could happen here. We are over on Untapped.gg, which is a website that basically provides you with a companion that you can download, and then this tracks your in-game win records, which is a very consistent, or let's say our most consistent way to understand what's going on the ladder, whereas basically the Master Duel Meta website would be the most consistent thing that we have to understand what's going on in tournaments, because these are tournament data. As you can see, Tenpai Dragon being at the top, Snake Eyes Fire King, and then Yubel. No big surprise here. This is what is to be expected. But on the ladder, the thing looks a bit different, as we have a lot of Tenpai Dragons here, also a lot of Ritual Beasts, Ritual Beasts being one of the best decks with the best win rate. Keep in mind, though, that with like a popularity of 3.1% and this having 17.4%, the data from the Ritual Beast deck is definitely a bit on the unsafer side. I would guess that if this would also be 17.4%, so more games, we would equal this out to a bit less than 55.9%. So in the end, I guess that Tenpai Dragon will have the best win record in the current format. Also, this is no surprise. So we have Ritual Beast, Tenpai Dragon here at the top, as well as Yubel, and at least on Master Duel Meta, the Snake Eyes Fire King deck being very good. Here you can see Snake Eyes only with 52.8% win rate, which is still good, because if you consistently win with this kind of win rate, then obviously you are going to climb. Everything above 50 will do the trick. Basically, we have Mathmax still very strong. No big surprise here, because we still have triple circulars and 2 Works. We'll get nice support in the future. And then we have seen that Voices also very strong, has received multiple finishes within the top 10 rating decks from the last month. You can definitely tech this deck quite nicely against the best meta threats at the current moment. So this is the situation we are currently right in, and the situation which we will use to approach the ban list from, basically. So let's see what is happening here. Obviously, the first big thing we have here, and if you have not seen that right now, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon will be unbanned with the release of the new ban list. If you're not aware what this guy does, it's made with Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon, or One Dragon Effect Monster. So normally Branded Despia was playing this, just putting in a Dark Magician. So then you have one of the pieces, and you can make this Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Neither player can target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So already pretty hard to get rid of this guy. You can battle it, or you can non-target banish it. During the main phase, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Very nice. Can obviously finish games. You can use this effect number of times per turn, up to the number of normal monsters used as a fusion material for this card. Normally, you will not be using 2 of this, but in the Brand Despia deck, for example, you would just use your Fallen of Alba, since this is a Dragon Effect monster, and then a Dark Magician that you're also playing in the deck. And then once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can discard 1 card for cost, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And if you do that, then this card gains 1000 attack, giving it basically 4000 attack, making it even less likely to be killed. Also a very cool artwork, in my opinion. Will probably, very likely, since this will be an ultra rare, will receive an animation. This is kind of clear right now. And obviously, if you destroy the card, you gain the 1000 attack. A very strong boss monster that Brand Despia can play, but a few different decks can play. And the most important thing to talk about when we are talking about Red Eyes Dragoon is definitely Predator Plant Verte Anaconda, being banned in the TCG and OCG, but being at 1 in Master Duel. 2 effect monsters, so easily made. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field, it becomes dark, blah blah blah. You can pay 2000 life points and send 1 fusion or polymerization, normal or quick play spell from your deck to the graveyard, and then you can basically activate this spell. So what you could do is you can just make the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon with, for example, a Branded Fusion and the Dark Magician, as well as a Fallen of Albas. Even if your deck is not Branded Despia, basically, you can just tag in a Predator Plant, a Verte Anaconda, and a Dark Dragoon into the extra deck. This can be made with any 2 effect monsters. So if you have on your end board comboing through anything there on your end board, still you can just make the Predator Plant Verte Anaconda and then go into a Dragoon if you have these 3 3 cards in your deck, which would be a Fallen of Albas as well as a Brand Fusion and a Dark Magician. Obviously, these are some bricks, this has to be said, so not quite sure if it's worth playing this, honestly, but you could, in theory, as of right now, put this in every deck. We still have this at 1 in Master Duel, so the big question, obviously, is the first big question concerning the Banlist. Will this still be at 1 when a Dark Dragoon comes out? Because obviously this makes Dragoon very, very strong, and honestly, I think this is like a coin flip, a gamble. It's definitely about time this card would get banned, and I think with the introduction of the Dark Dragoon, it probably will, even though I do not think that if we keep the Predator Plant Verte Anaconda as well as the Dark Dragoon, that this would be a big problem for the game, so I'm not quite sure whether this is even needed, honestly, but I'm going to predict that we will see probably the ban of Predator Plant Verte Anaconda, giving us back 30 ultra rare crafting points, quite nice. So this is the first thing I think that will happen. And then once again, looking at this, so this is the Dark Dragoon discussion basically. I don't think that we will see a ban list hitting a lot of things, honestly, because the meta is not super unfair, even though Tenpai Dragons could definitely see a hit. Then again, the pack is still in the shop, and Konami seems to not really want to hit stuff that is still in the shop. But let's talk about the most obvious candidates for hits here. We have Sengen Summoning. We received this at 1 in Master Duel. You can see it's in TCG and OCG at 1. I think this is one of the best hits that you can make for Tenpai Dragon. We might, though, also just see this hit next month at the end of December. I think at some point this will happen. This is a hit that will happen. This is also super rare, so it would be nice to just give this super rare crafting points to the community basically, and not give them an ultra rare. This is a very good hit, since if your opponent then can destroy one Sengen Summoning, you can't get another one, and also if your opponent destroys one Sengen Summoning, you cannot boost your Trident Dragon by double the attack, because this is then already in the graveyard. And we still, oh no, we don't have terraforming, as for some reason I keep thinking that we have terraforming in the game still, but we don't. So Sengen Summoning, I think, is the most likely hit, and definitely a hit we could see at the ban list this month, to just make this a bit less consistent and bring this in line with the other top meta decks. I think that Ritual Beast also has a good win rate here, because this win rate is represented by people being very good with the deck, which is why we have this at 3.1. If everybody would play this deck, the win rate would be worse, which is why I think Ritual Beast will not see any hits. The other potential hit that could come to Tenpai Dragon is the Chundra. OCG has this at 1. This is a very strong piece, a very important one, and if this can be interrupted, not getting a second Chundra online is very problematic for the Tenpai deck. Also, if you need to use this in your first turn combo to make a hieratic seals, and then you don't have a second one for your second turn or for your third turn basically, then this can be a problem. In my opinion, this might be an even worse hit for Tenpai than Sengen Summoning. Not quite sure though, but this is also a potential hit, since we normally kind of mirror the OCG ban. This could also happen. I don't think this will happen right now, since it's also an ultra rare. So I could definitely see Sengen Summoning going to 1 on this list, and then sometime later on Tenpai Dragon Chundra going to maybe 2 first, and then maybe to 1 later if this is still needed. I think these are the most likely hits coming to Tenpai in the future, with Sengen Summoning being the one that we could see on this ban list right now. This is my prediction. So for Ritual Beast, as I already said, I don't think that anything will happen here. And then talking about Yubel, Voiceless, and the other top meta decks, basically Snake Eyes, and so on. I don't think we will see any hits to the Snake Eyes engine. This might happen when we get the new Fiendsmith and Azamina stuff, but for right now, Snake Eyes is kind of inconsistent. It's still a good deck, don't get me wrong here, but you can also see this represented in these numbers here, that is not as strong as it used to be. I think they have hit a really nice sweet spot when it comes to balancing out Snake Eyes, so I don't think we will see anything here. Will see anything to Mathmech, neither to Centurion. There are not a lot of people playing this deck, so we won't see anything here. Brand Despia will also see nothing, and then Voices and Yubel. I guess Voices will not see any hits. I guess the most likely candidate to maybe see hits would be Yubel, but I honestly do not think so, since we already have received the first hits in the form of the Phantom of Yubel as well as opening of the Spirit Gate, so I don't really see Yubel receiving any more hits. What we could see at some point is the Nightmare Throne going to maybe to 1, as we have done this in the OCG to 2, or maybe to 2. This is definitely not unheard of, or maybe we go some Samsara Lotus to 2 to just make it a bit less consistent. One thing that we could see is something like this Artifact Scythe going to Forbidden, because this once again is quite a toxic way to play this deck here, like with the Ibli before. So I don't know, Konami doesn't like these kind of game plans, so we might see Artifact Scythe going to Forbidden, which would be nice. I still have one, but remains to be seen. Other than that, I do not really think that we will see any Yubel hits. The Phantom of Yubel to 1 would be quite a hard one. I think at some point we could see this, but we first need Fiendsmith in the game for this deck to once again become even stronger, and then I guess they will do something. Maybe they will do something to the Fiendsmith engine, but I would not see any reason to now hit Yubel. So honestly, this is my prediction. I don't think we will see a big ban list. We get the Dragoon back. We will probably see Predator and Verte Anaconda go. I guess we could see Second Summoning going to 1. This is one of the most likely ones, and then obviously we will see some stuff coming back from the list, but nothing too fancy, probably nothing too impactful. And yeah, maybe the Chundra in the future, but for every other meta deck, I think we are quite safe, as the meta right now is kind of nice. I think we have a lot of Tenpai Dragons, which is why I think there will be something happening to Tenpai, the field spell going to 1, making this a bit less consistent so that we don't see so many Tenpai decks on a ladder. But I think other than that, we are in quite a nice format, and if we should receive the Fiendsmith stuff within the next update, then we might also have a new format. Basically, there could be some, because spoiler alert if you have not watched the video, but we will get a Gimmick Puppet support, and this enables a first turn kill. If you want to see how this works, go check out the video that I've linked in the top right corner. But we could see some hits to this in or at the forefront, basically maybe putting some of these older cards here to 1, which make the first turn kill, I think, harder. I think this is still possible, but makes it harder. It's not impossible. I could see this because once again, Konami does not like these kind of strategies, so this could be something that could be happening, pre-banning some of this stuff, but I'm not quite sure, because who would then purchase the Gimmick Puppet support stuff? I don't know. Still hoping for Fiendsmith though. But let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think will get hit? What, in your opinion and in your experience on the ladder, is the most annoying thing that you want to get rid of? Let me know. I'm very interested in hearing your opinion, and we will see each other in the next one.